so we better turn it down. And I'm just waiting for us to get a solid connection. You know, it seems
Oh
like,
no. Oh gosh.
what's that, baby?
The cat surprised me.
Oh my goodness,
That's all.
Arizona.
That's all.
How did Arizona get in? She's going to be a problem laying over there, baby.
Okay.
She needs to be taken out.
I will get her.
You'll have to disconnect yourself, darling.
I'm doing it.
Give us a moment, folks. We have 3 cats, and each of them, are, well, we're the ones that are owned by them. And that was our orange cat. She has the color of an Arizona sunset. And so I named her Arizona. She's kind of my cat.
Oh, she's Michael's baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, she is. And we have 3 others. We have a jet black cat.
Jelly.
Jelly. And Jelly is Kimberly's cat, most definitely. And then we have Jelly's baby, a calico cat. And yeah, there was an orange cat around at that time. And it made perfect sense. And she's beautiful. God, the markings on that cat. And she was our daughter's cat, but our daughter is at university right now. And so she is the most lovable of them all. But we have a mic system here, folks. And I know I'm getting up here late and all of that, but I've got a good show for you, I think. And just let me kind of get my grounds here, because the reason I was up so late tonight is I was really engrossed in the conversation. As my longtime viewers know, I get into the conversation. I'm usually set and ready to go about an hour before the stream. And I sit down and I look for early entries of comments. I keep, matter of fact, I kept some comments I'm going to read tonight by Doc Insomnia and Dragon. Dragon just has a snippet in it, but then if you've been watching Dragon's comments before the show, you'll know where he stands on all of this. And I've got to tell you, I'm really glad, because Dragon is also known as Christian, and he is a school teacher. And
yeah,
he teaches young folks, and I think that's what is needed right now. I've often said that I have a channel mission, and that mission is to procure, within the scopes of what I can do on my channel, what is true rock and roll, predominantly classic rock, but it encompasses everything from 1955 until now, and in some cases before 1955, because we have to understand the history and how it came about. All right, so that's it. We procure that on this channel. I just got through telling one of my viewers in the comments. I was so engrossed in the comments tonight, baby. I was having a conversation in there.
I know.
You know, about how Pink Floyd was named. I had just seen a video on that. I don't know if that's where Zuma got it or not, or if Zuma knew this all the time. But I'm going to tell you, folks, if you're out there and watching me for the first time, and I'm Michael Noland, the channel is called The Bottom Line, and when I stream live on Sundays and Wednesdays at 5 p.m., now that's PST, that's my local time. I live here in the Big Valley out in California. One of you just, was it Zuma? You're in Oregon, you're on the West Coast. We have a huge West Coast audience, but we've got a really great worldwide audience as well, okay? So the West Coast of the United States would be my backyard, and that would include a whole ton of people from Canada, by the way. All right, Canada is one of this channel's biggest audiences. The United States is the biggest. Canada and Australia right now are vying for second place, and England is always threatening and has taken that second place several times. So I have a huge audience down in South America, right? Some of my first subscribers were from Argentina, man, right? So it's a worldwide thing. And often in my videos, if you're a new subscriber, I see new names out there right now. And welcome to actually being new here and getting right into the pool, dipping your toes into the pool. That's getting into the conversation. Because I'm going to tell you, beyond my knowledge of rock and roll, I have the backing of these people you see here, and a lot of these folks. I'd spend too much time on the stream tonight pointing out just the people you see in front of me and how much they've helped me get a clearer understanding when I get into an area of rock that I'm not. For example, I can tell you just about anything you want to know about the Beatles. I'm not bad at Led Zeppelin. Pink Floyd, however, I got into them right
my
when.
Goodness. Oh
What
my
was that,
goodness.
baby?
Storm Cop came in with a bang like
Oh
he
my
always
goodness! Oh, good Lord! You mean a
Storm
cannon
Cop.
shot? Good
Yeah,
Lord!
I know.
Oh my goodness!
Aw,
Storm Cop, thank you
Cop,
so
you're
much.
so
A wonderful
wonderful.
$50 super
And
thanks.
Beast, LVX just
Oh my
came
goodness!
in too.
Oh,
You guys are wonderful.
and Beast, I'll get it right this time.
Yeah.
Is not Gear Jam, but Beast is Deuces Wild, with
yeah.
a $5 super thanks. My goodness gracious. Baby, could you read first James's?
Yes.
James's Storm Cop.
Yes, yes. I
One
will.
of my oldest subscribers and
Biggest
instigator of great ideas. One of the people I was talking about, okay? Doc Insomnia, see if I start mentioning them. Dragon,
Yep.
you know, these people, Rock and Robin Bird.
Rockin' Robin Bird.
Okay, Royce when he's out in the audience, you know, these are all people who have a greater knowledge as some of my bands. I've got a greater knowledge on some bands than them, and together we get to it. I've learned so much.
I know.
In
I
the
call
4
them the
years,
experts.
4 measly years that I've been on YouTube,
Yep.
and just got to my 4th year as a rock channel on February 15th. So we're into the 5th season. I haven't even mentioned that. All right. And the channel is going great guns. As a matter of fact, I do want to bring this up, and then I'd like you to read these two.
Okay, hon. Yeah.
We just reached an hour before I got up on the screen. Finally, for the 3rd time, we'll see if it holds this time, but it's going to happen. 47,300 subscribers, and there's a ton of you new folks out there right now. And I've been watching you join, and I hope that you bear with me when I'm streaming live, because this is all me. I'm not scripted at all. I have some notes. I have some screenshots, okay? I have a prepared idea of what I want to talk about. That's why you hear another person's voice on my stream. That is my lovely wife, who is my producer. And because she produces the dialogue between you and I. And she is my off-screen. She goes, no, I'm not going to have any of that, Michael. She is my off-screen co-host, okay? And so she connects with people talking here live. And if something big comes up, she lets me know. A thought that needs to be brought up and everything. And that way I'm free to just kind of deliver what I've got prepared for you, folks. I think I'm the only one in the local YouTube universe that does it quite the way that I do. And I love it. I enjoy it. For those of you who have been with me from my first stream, I should have brought my chapstick over, baby.
Oh, boy.
Don't think I could get you to get that for me, would you?
Where is that?
Yeah,
hon?
because I've got really dry lips right now.
Well, it's kind of dark. So
Yeah, you'll have to disconnect, and it's over there on the lip of
I
that
sure will.
table. Thank you, folks, for bearing with me right here. Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. And be careful when you reconnect there, darling.
Okay.
So, anyway, I'll tell you, I just announced that we hit 13 million views in that short time. Okay? We are now at 13,384,876, as I recall, views. I just announced that we hit 13 million.
Yeah.
And views are starting to pick up again on the channel. January, late December, January, things die and don't really start coming back to life until about the mid of February, which is always the beginning of my new season. And so season 5 is going to continue in what we've been doing, only in a way more organized way. For you new viewers, we are in the midst of doing our own, we call it the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. It ain't that other one. And several of you have already mentioned in the comments that, because the title for tonight's stream is, Rock ain't dead, but it is on life support. Okay? It's no longer the predominant form of music that's listened to the greater audience, which is usually the younger audience.
Robin Bird just came in with
Oh
a
my
super
goodness!
thing.
Oh my goodness!
Rockin'
Thank you,
Robin Bird,
darling.
Thank you so much.
And we're gonna get to yours. That's a $5 super thanks. Of course, we got a $5 super thanks from
B still VX.
yeah, but I always see it come in the other way, and I always credit him as Deuces Wild.
Yes.
And Storm Cop, could you read the 3 of theirs, and then we'll get on to this, folks.
Okay.
I'll go past the hour if I have to.
Okay.
Thanks for bearing with us.
We have Storm Cop. First, he says, rock and roll will never die as long as those of us who love classic rock refuse to let it. Just my humble opinion. Humble. Baloney. You're wonderful, Storm Cop. You're fabulous.
Absolutely.
Don't be humble. The tribe rocks, he says.
Yeah, and that's part of what we're talking
Amen.
about, isn't it, James? We're talking about procuring and then educating, because rock and roll may very well be going the way of jazz. Jazz is alive and well. There are entire jazz streams here on YouTube, jazz channels, and everything. It's alive and well as an art form, but its heyday, it seems, has passed up until this point in time. I think that's clear. And rock is on the end of being where it was. Some will say it's been off that radar for quite a while.
Dan just came in with the super thing.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
I got to do some catching up here.
Dan, thank you.
Let me check this out, because I got to get you to read the rest of those.
Beast
Dan, it's so good to see you. We hadn't seen Dan in the last couple because he's been so busy.
Yes, he
But could
has.
you read?
Yeah, I'll read Deuces.
Yeah.
Which is Beast LVX. He says, I'll say it again. The stories behind these bands and their music is just as fascinating as the music itself. It's a type of cultural enrichment. It sure is. It does. It represents the culture of its time, and a lot of it is timeless.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Wonderful statement. I concur wholeheartedly.
Thank you, Beast.
And goes right along with me yammering what I was yammering. So it's almost like a testimony. I love this. And then we got Rockin' Robin Bird with a $5
yes,
super thanks.
Rockin' Robin Bird. She says, missed you all, Michael, Kimberly, and Tribe. Good to be here. It seems that the industry wants rock to be dead, but there are always new fans. Yes, there is.
Good
Boy,
point. And she was bringing that up earlier,
Yeah.
and that's part of what I wanted to talk about. The industry doesn't want rock, and there's a good reason for several good reasons, not good reasons, just cold-hearted factual reasons for
Oh,
that on
my-
one hand, and then the fact that the music industry is full of dastardly villains.
Michael Rochester came in with the super things
Oh, my
too.
goodness.
Thank you, Michael.
Oh,
He's
he
got
swung a
$2.
deuce hammer
He
at
did.
us.
We
Michael.
call it the deuce hammer.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
brother.
Michael.
I appreciate that.
That's
He didn't say
wonderful.
anything, but
Nope.
thank you.
But Rockin' Robin Bird, well, I read hers.
Right.
Who was it? Oh, Dan's. Dan's. I have to read Dan's.
Did you
yet.
get and we talked about Deuce. Yeah. Okay,
Yes,
good.
we
We're
did.
up to
We
Dan.
need to get Dan. Dan, where did his go?
Right underneath Michael Rochester.
Okay, all right. Why is mine different here? Okay, Dan, just the facts man. That's his channel.
Yeah, great channel.
Great channel. Go
Yeah.
check it out.
Brother channel. He's also on my featured channel list. If you go to my channel page, folks, I have a list of 5 channels that I actively support. I put all my support toward those people. Dan here is one of them. Of course, Royce. Royce is going to be streaming tonight. I'm going to see if I can get on up over there. I may be late in joining Royce if you're out there. I haven't seen him yet.
He's out there.
Oh, okay, brother.
Yes, he is.
But in order to get through everything I need to get through tonight, I may have to go a little over the hour, but I'll be there. Okay? Can you read what Dan has to say?
Yes, I can. He says, sorry I'm late. Tonight's subject is the reason I am hitting as many concerts as possible this year. I scored some great tickets for the Guess Who.
Yes, he
with
did.
Don Felder, set for August. Oh, Dan, you lucky guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and what didn't you score Rush tickets too, Dan? Or
Wow.
and that was going to set him back. And he also got tickets, and he's going to go see the Hollywood Vampires over in merry old England. He offered to take me, but my personal circumstances are such that I can't leave the homestead. Certainly not, I can't be too far away from personal responsibilities here.
Yeah.
And Dan and I had a wonderful telephone conversation about that. And I did want to say, Dan, I know I can speak for Royce, we were both honored that you thought of us, for that. What a wonderful chance to see Alice Cooper. Everybody knows Alice Cooper, he's my guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one shock rock kind of guy for me. Not that I don't like David Bowie, but I didn't get into Bowie until after his shock rock period. I got into his golden years.
Oh my goodness. Royce just came in with a suit. Speaking of
Oh
Royce.
my goodness. Are we caught up? Did we read all of Dan's? Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did. And Michael Rochester, he just sent the super thanks. He didn't have a message.
Right.
But
thank you, Michael, once again.
Yes.
Deuce Hammer, so many of you give us $2 at the end of a stream. It really adds up. We do appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all of these. We read every one of these. It doesn't matter how large or how small. We love you for supporting the channel. Could you read what my brother Royce has to say?
yes, he says the 4 horsemen will do everything we can to keep our beloved rock alive.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's
Absolutely.
exactly what these channels are doing.
Right. And folks, Royce comes from the 4 Horsemen. Best way to get there, of course, I've mentioned it. Go to my channel page. If you're over here in that area, click, his is the second link you can click there, right? And it'll take you to his channel, and then you can click on tonight's stream. I'm going to be there, all right? And we're going to be talking about Ozzy Osbourne. So I'm going to be happy. Big Osbourne fan. Not as big as Royce was as far as his solo career, but I'm getting there. But especially with Black Sabbath, one of my favorite bands in classic rock. All right, guys, thank you so much. All right, so now get back to the idea of why would rock be in such a bad situation? And before I do that, I do have to make these numbers. Storm Cop, he bought 5 new memberships on our last stream. $35 super thanks right there. Of course, he did a wonderful super thanks here at the beginning of the stream. Thank you so much,
Oh,
brother.
my goodness
Joseph Blue came in at the very last minute, as he usually does, with a $2 deuce hammer. My brother Royce gave us a $10. Deuces Wild gave us a $2, and then followed that up with the $5 super thanks. Yeah, baby.
Oh, I was just going to say, Michael Boswell just came in with a super thanks. $5 from Michael. Thank you so
Oh,
much,
thank you
Michael.
so much. I'm not on that page. Can you read it?
I sure can. He says, rock and roll music is not going to die. But what is changing is how it is presented.
Right.
The new generation wants more production and glitz.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it seems like that is, all
Right.
the glitz and glamour. You're right, Michael.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And that's where Michael and I, we agree on so many different things. And Michael, and I do want to represent his point of view in a positive light. Michael thinks that we need to be a lot more open to new technology and new technological ways of delivering rock. He's big into, or at least he defends, Avatar shows, and he sees that as seeing them in their prime. It brings on new and younger fans, seeing them as their best, and of course, as the future unfolds, those shows will even get more 3D and magnificent. Michael, what are you afraid of? Right, Michael? I think that's kind of, in a nutshell, how you feel. And so when we get to that one caveat, because this channel has a list, and it's been a while since we've gone through this list of things that I feel, right? And this list may evolve, as everything on this channel does, around your input, okay? But one thing I should do real quickly is to read this list. I call it the, the Unholy 10 Sins of Classic Rock. And these are areas that I have felt since the beginning of my channel that are hurting classic rock. I say that, but rock in general. You can just say rock and roll. And I don't see it as being some of the things that are happening right now, I think, are exactly what has put rock and roll in the hole that it's in. And one of those things is AI. That was the number one of the first 10. And of course, that's where Michael and I divert, right? But I'm still holding strong that I think that it puts us, it's like going, my counter to Michael is always, it's like going to see Captain EO at Disneyland. It's a Disney ride. And rock and roll, I'll give you a quote from Paul Rogers. I see you got something there, babe.
Michael Rochester again.
Okay, I'll get right to it, baby.
Okay.
But a quote from Paul Rogers when he was offered to join the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is number 2 on this list, by the way, as the worst thing that is hurting rock and roll. AI and this. But when he was offered that position directly by Ahmet Ertegun, so it was a shoo-in at that point. It was going to happen. And Paul Rogers said, no, man, rock don't belong in no museum.
No.
So that covers that. And AI, it should breathe.
Exactly.
Breathe. And when I think of breathe, I think of live performances without things like backing tracks and lip syncing. Oh my goodness, that's number 3 on my list, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Notice how I just kind of all you have to just start talking about things that are plaguing rock and roll, and you can almost go through the list. I mean, there they are, lip syncing, Don Henley and others, and playing to backing tracks, Journey, right? Neil Sean.
Yep.
Okay, and what do we get as an audience? Well, we get a more perfect sounding music that comes over the PA, and what's the result? Prices go up, and so then we have ticket prices. One of you brought what was it? Gear Jam sent me a note talking about Bruce Springsteen on his latest tour, which is to save America. Here he is again. It's a political tour. So if anything, the billionaire Bruce Springsteen should make every one of these freaking concerts free, since you have a damned political message to share. But that's not what's happening, folks. People are complaining of $1,000 outer ring tickets.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But we can thank God that at least he has a new song out, if you can call it one. And he's touring with at least some semblance of new material often. You can't blame him like you can bands like Foreigner that limp on a catalog that was created before anybody was on that's on that stage now was ever in Foreigner. It was dead and done. Foreigner was done, and Mick couldn't let go and refielded a new team and used his presence as an excuse, which goes into bands who tour with few or no original members. No new music, no new members, higher ticket prices, more perfect sound, avatar shows, political preaching at venues at number 8, residencies that almost have to have backing tracks in order to sync up with what's going on with the bazillion cameras filming another Captain freaking EO for you to enjoy.
Michael?
And then rockers who are out there bottlenecking everything but just don't have anything else to go. These things are critical. The doctors are looking over the patients, folk. Right now, it's not looking good. O2 levels are down to about 72%. Not dead, but not thriving.
Oh,
Yeah, baby,
Michael
you had...
Well, he's got something to say
Of course he does. But first of all, let's take a look at... You had one other from...
I think I read all the others, hon.
No, you said there was one I never got to it.
Oh, that's right. Michael Rochester.
Right.
Thank you, hon. He says, not SoundScan is the reason for the demise of rock.
SoundScan's a good... I wouldn't have thought of using SoundScan as an example tonight. See, this is what I mean. This is when we go live. I can get an immediate... I wouldn't have thought of that, but damn great point. And we would be getting to that in general when I go over some of the things and excuses as to why, despite my concerns here, we're at the level that we are at. All right, so you had a response from Michael.
Oh, yeah, Michael.
And I definitely want to be fair. Why don't you read his and the amount?
Okay. Michael says...
How much was it for, babe?
Oh, $5.
Thank you, Michael.
Boswell. How would No Doubt do Don't Speak without backing tracks as Gwen is singing lead and all backing vocals? How would No Doubt do? Yeah.
Right. The old way that we used to handle that back in the day is you hire extra background singers and you bring them out on the stage, and everybody at the concert knew they weren't with the band because they had to reproduce a closer sound to the record. Michael, I'm not against. I don't want to use the word ringers, but I kind of, to me, I've called Foreigner ringers at this point. They're Foreigner 2. If Foreigner was a movie, this is Foreigner 2, only this is the one that Lionsgate got after it went broke. It has nothing to do with, it's kind of like watching Eddie and the Cruisers, the original movie, and then watching Eddie Lives, which, by the way, I love both movies, but it's the first one that's cinematic. The second one is a very well done video / movie. Big difference. And even though I enjoyed it, guess what? When I went to purchase my own physical copy, I got it for about $4.99 on sale. And the original Eddie and the Cruisers, I paid whatever top dollar. I think I had that one on DVD. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm not against if they can't replicate the sound, if they bring additional musicians. Honestly, I'll give you another example where they bring additional singers on. We're talking singing right now, Michael. What's his name from Whitesnake? Why am I not going to remember his name? Lead singer, he just retired. Folks, yeah. Coverdale, David Coverdale. For the last 5 years of his touring, he had hidden backup singers, and especially one backup singer that could do his vocals. And when it got past his range, he would just mouth it, and the backup singer would fill it in. That's dishonest to me. All right, that's not a true live performance, or it is a true live performance, Michael. Let me back up on that statement. But it's not a true, honest live performance, because everybody in attendance, and I can guarantee you, 99.9% of the tens of thousands of people that would watch him were not aware that he wasn't singing every single note, and that they felt they got their money's worth not being aware of that. So the question to me, I would have to those folks, now that you know, did you get your money's worth? And Michael, I'd be willing to bet more people would agree with you and say, yeah, I'm fine with it. I didn't know that's what would happen. It would have been nice if they had said that.
He said, yes, ABBA did exactly that.
Right.
During their live shows, and is why there were very few concerts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, well, they were a band that sold us on their videos, really.
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness, Michael has something to say again, but okay. I wanted to read Crunch #1 fan's comment. He says, do the Jan Winter voice, Michael. Love that. Thank you, Michael Boswell.
You mean, oh, yeah. They're not articulate. Jan Winter.
Articulate. I love that, yeah.
I hate Jan Winter. As a matter of fact, the sorry state of rock and roll right now, and it's, again, I should always say this. I'm not just nitpicking, because I know some of you are watching me right now and you're saying, come on, Michael. It takes maybe a little effort on your part, but there's great music out there. You can still find, as a matter of fact, I just listened to Dream Theater's Parasomnia late last year, and it blew me away. And I never got into Dream Theater before that. I am now getting it. So that's a doorway album for me. And you guys have turned me on. You guys turned me on to two blues people. I got to look. I took a screenshot based on the two blues singers that Pink Floyd was named after. right? So I'll go and get that information and everything. I've talked about bands that I've kind of discovered I like on my own, sort of. Of course, Dirty Honey. I love Rival Sons. Kind of like and love and hate and love and like Greta Van Fleet.
Me
Okay.
too, especially their first
Right.
album. Yeah.
The rock band Dorothy I'm into, and I'm watching a couple of other bands you guys have turned me on to. Yes, the rock and roll is still alive. Jazz is still alive with brand new people. But my question is, are we entering into that time period? And if it is inevitable, I'm not here to stop that flow. I'm not here to stop that flow with more than a wish for one more go before that flow must flow, if you know what I mean. And if there is ever a chance for any type of resurgence, you go, Michael, a resurgence of rock and roll? The devil, you say. Actually, let's go to a screen I have here. And I think by how late I'm going tonight, I may not be able to get to Doc's comments that I had pinpointed. Let's see if I can make that happen, though. Where is that information? Let's see, right here. It must be further on up. Yep. Okay. The sources are really claiming that there's 4 areas that really are responsible for, it says, while rock music remains a massive force, often leading in concert ticket sales and physical album purchases. So rock is quite responsible for the resurgence in vinyl. It has ceded its spot as dominant cultural number 1 to pop and hip hop due to several structural cultural shifts. Notice they didn't say rap. There have been articles lately coming out that rap is in a decline. Imagine that. So the number 1 thing is the shift to streaming and singles. Told you we'd get there, right, brother? The modern music industry favors singles-driven economy over the album-centric model that defined rock's peak. And there is no doubt about it, that was one of the defining things that I used to begin my classic rock era. 1965, the first classic rock album by any band ever, and that is the Beatles. You'll have to see my other streams regarding that, but I got a pretty damn solid argument that I can prove. Classic rock was born with the release and the recording before that of Rubber Soul by the Beatles. An album, by the way, that was recorded. Do you have another one, baby?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to read Michael Boswell's
comment. Oh, I
comment.
didn't get to it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go for it. Sorry,
he
Michael.
He says ABBA would do exactly what Michael said, and a complete orchestra and chorus. To be pure to the wall of sound, they did very few hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael, I'm sorry. I did hear her do part of it. I thought she was through. I apologize for that. Anyway, so it's a singles-driven type of thing. I've talked about also that the younger audience that you would naturally like to attract, that only top bands are able to attract, it seems like these days, like Led Zeppelin. Every 2 or 3 years, there's brand new set of 15-year-old, predominantly boys in high school. They go, hey, you know who's really cool? From way back in the dinosaur days. And they become new Led Zeppelin fans. The Beatles are able to do that. Pink Floyd a bit is able to do that. And then as those guys get serious, then other bands kind of get, their toast gets buttered a little bit and everything else. But there was a time when the classic rock played. Have you heard classic rock radio lately, folks? Only the same boring, they may have a playlist of 60 to maybe, depending on how, liberal your stations are, maybe up to 100 songs out of the 10,000 at least that should get equal airplay. That's right, 10,000 songs. Songs I grew up with on FM radio that never, ever, ever get played again. And you go, well, they were on the playlist. But just get these asshole stations to play Whitebird by It's a Beautiful Day. Damn them all to hell, baby.
Yes. Rockin' Robin Bird came in with a super thanks.
Oh, my goodness.
She swung the deuce hammer.
Thank you, Rockin'.
Thank you, Rockin' Robin Bird.
I was having a real good conversation with her.
Yeah?
Because she's one that finds new music, too. And it is. See, that's part of the education of the channel. That's what I want to offer here. I don't want to just knit and pick and have no other options. Otherwise, why would I be doing my latest poll on the greatest drummers in rock and roll? Let's go over there for a second, folks. All right. I just started. I've been promising this. One of our responses on this channel is to create our own damn Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We have over 130 inductees so far. There will be a new batch added at the end of this year, because that's when we do our thing. And there will also be a new batch because we have the 13 original bands inducted. We have an additional 52 bands inducted. I'll get right to you, baby.
Okay.
And then we also have the top 25 guitarists. All right. And now, because of my latest poll, if you go over there, I've got parts 1 and 2 up. And right after I get done streaming at Royce's tonight, I'll have part 3 up. Right now, we've got 1,000 votes on the first. And here's the question for both parts. I'll give you a breakdown on who's ahead and who's not, because this is how we procure it. This is how we educate young folks as they come to know the channel.
Amen.
The real, the true, the righteous story of rock and roll, mama.
Yeah.
So get used to it.
We don't have an agenda.
No, there is no agenda.
We just love rock and roll.
Right. You know, if I don't like Motley Crue and you do, well, to hell with my opinion. It's cool, right? Because it's only rock and roll to me,
yes, ask
baby.
Michael Boswell.
Did you read Rockins?
Nope. Rockin' Robin Bird says there are local and global independent rock bands. Mm-hmm. This is true. That's how bands used to get known, is by the local, bands.
Yeah, they'd play for beer on a Wednesday, even a Tuesday, but Thursday night, hoping that they could drive up an audience and actually get a Friday night pay day and a Saturday. And the idea, or a Saturday, and the idea was to lock in, if you were ultra successful, a Thursday through Saturday run for bigger bucks. That's how they used to do it.
Ben Scheidegger sent a gift membership.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Ben Scheidegger, thank you so much. Ben is
And, of course,
awesome.
Stormcop bought 5 more. If any of you get this, get that. My members-only videos got out of whack. I don't have the time to explain it tonight. I'll go over that stuff on Wednesday because I want to be able to cover everything I need to cover. But there's tons of new members-only videos. I have not stopped producing what I've produced on this channel. As a matter of fact, I've been more busy on the regular channel than I've ever been. I always say I get 1 to 3 videos out every week, and I do that. And I also stream twice a week, okay? So that's added, and that's as free as anything done. But a lot of you wanted me to do specific kinds of videos and things like that, and I go, yeah, but that might not have a large audience. That might not be good for and they go, but we pay, and so this is what I did. This gift membership will make you a tribal elder for 1 month at least if you don't re-up. And I always make sure you've got tons of stuff over there. You've got my music demos. They're nothing more than that, right? You've got me talking about a plethora of things. We've got portions of Royce's wonderful show over there. Okay, all kinds of stuff. we're nudging up at about 150 videos right now, just over there. And of course, well over 1,600 videos here on the regular channel. All right. So are we caught up, babe?
I think we're caught up on that.
Okay. And we may have to make this a part 2 tonight, because this is all part of it, is taking back control. And we're going to get back to why that control is here in a minute. But one of the things we do is this new Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. And here are the nominees. The top 2 vote getters in each field of 4 will get inducted in the fall, along with the new inductees when we do those polls. Okay? So part 1 already with 1,000 votes. Here's the question to every single part. It'll be a 10-part poll, folks. Which of the following drummers do you believe should be inducted into the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame? Simple question. Your first 4 choices was Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses, Ian Pace, Deep Purple, Larry Mullen Jr. from U2, and Dennis Carey from Tool. Right now leading the pack with a whopping 76%, Ian Pace of Deep Purple. If that holds, he will be inducted for a second time into the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, because Deep Purple's already there. And of course, in number 2, this was a surprise for me. You guys surprised me here, and I'm glad, because I didn't think he had a chance.
Yep.
Danny Carey from Tool with 14%. Okay. And the closest person to him is Larry Mullen Jr. of U2, and Steven Adler of Guns N' Roses comes in last. Now, part 2 is the same as the last. Which drummer do you believe belongs into the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame? The choices was Ginger Baker from Cream, Phil Rudd from AC/DC, Jeff Porcaro from Toto, and many other Steely Dan projects, and Meg White from the White Stripes. There'll be several women that will be nominated in this process. At least 3 or 4 that I could remember just off the top of my head. All right, in number 1, by far, with 68%, is Ginger Baker, and we've got just under 700 votes on this, and it's only been out for the last 9 hours. Yeah, 9 hours. So a lot more voting going on, but he's got a clear lead. In number 2, I was glad to see this. I'm a Phil Rudd fan, but man, Porcaro, he rings my chimes, and he's at number 2 with 20%. Wow. You know, a personal gratitude nod to you guys out there for me, because I can put these names up, but the voting, it's all up to you. So far, I'm happy with the results. What do you guys think? Babe, look for people saying whether they like the way the poll's going now or not.
Okay.
So anyway, we get back to this whole idea of, what's kind of gotten a hold of what are the physical barriers and everything.
Yeah.
Another thing that gets into it, this is like the second portion of what is keeping rock and roll up. By the way, keep in mind that right now, out of all the popular, and rock and roll is still amongst the popular musical genres that everybody listens to.
Storm Cop says that the polls are doing splendid.
Oh, great.
And Dr. Insomnia says, you sure know how to pick a landslide winner. Yeah.
I was worried about a couple of them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been disappointed. I didn't want to see Meg White get in there.
Yeah.
She's important, so I put her in there, right? And I had a couple of people say Meg White. And I'm getting into the White Stripes for the first time. See, I can learn, folks. But she was a basic drummer, and I'm thinking, Mount Rock Olympus, first draw? No. She has an importance. And she has a right to be up there as a drummer. It's just first draw. And so I was a little happy to see that she wasn't racing up, you know. If we had done this poll 10 years ago, she would have been way up there in votes, I'm sure.
Divining Dragon
Yeah,
said,
baby.
the poll is doing well. We trust the tribe.
Oh, absolutely. I do.
Absolutely, Divining.
Yeah. Yeah, see, this whole thing, I'm the the bean counter. All I do is I do, the work to get it up there. It's your guys' effort that gets it going. Now, one of the things we're talking about was cost to produce a type of genre of music. And I did want to bring up that also rock and roll is right now currently the fastest growing popular subgenre of music. So there's that little light that I was talking about earlier in the stream. That little miracle, that one more grand slam, babe,
Yeah.
for us all. Kind of wish that we'd all like to see, rock and roll go out in a blaze of glory. What would be more apropos than that? But there are really real financial and just nuts and bolts things that are working against it that we don't often think about. And one of those things is cost. Think about what pop and hip hop and rap are produced by. For the cost of a mid-cost Gibson Les Paul and nice amp, say a Fender Reverb, if you could get those brand new, right?
Yeah.
For that cost, you get a whole freaking studio, enough borrowed files and things like that, editing power, right in your own bedroom. Whereas a full-on rock band, who now not only has to put out that money for that Les Paul and that Fender Reverb or Marshall Stack, whatever it is, but the article was talking about just average, equipment costs. And but they have to also buy him a mic, a set of boxes to get the tones he needs for the songs they're showing, a slew of chords, and maintenance costs, and also he wants to make a buck. Now multiply that by 4. Drummer needs drums, bass player needs about everything a lead guitarist would need in his own universe, another guitarist, and if there's a lead singer amongst these 4, let's say maybe a couple of them share, they're going to need a PA system that costs about as much as all the equipment they have on stage to begin with. And for the cost of that Les Paul and the amp behind him, you can record an entire album and call yourself an artist. I signed in. If my sign-in is still there on the Rock and Roll Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, because sometimes I come into the conversation as that. If it's still there in the comments, click over to that and you'll see what I can do with a set of manipulated orchestral violins, things like that, that you can just download as a file onto track 1, track 3, track 9, track 49, track 83, track 132. Okay, I've got all kinds of that. Sounds quite professional, right? And that's just, I haven't started that channel up or anything. I think I've only got like 37 subscribers. But it's got that song on there. Listen to that. And I did that in my bedroom. Okay? So you can do that stuff. I know what I'm talking about. But the problem is I would take a section of orchestra and then I'd cut it in half and flip it in heart and stuff like that. In the best tradition of the Beatles, you get people now who don't even bother to go to that point. right? And I would create a melody in my head, and then I'd get the orchestra and I'd bring up all kinds of things to get that idea in there. And I'd do that clip as a songwriter, crafting a song and orchestrating it. Again, that video will give you a good idea of how I did that. So nowadays, you don't have to become proficient at any particular instrument. You can fly in solos. You can split them up, combine solos. And some lazy folks will just get AI to do it all for them. Because now we've got a major problem here in the States, I think worldwide, but here in the States, where Congress is going to have to look into this to stop this freaking monster AI from taking over, because we've gotten to a point that people have learned to love the perfect. ABBA in their youth. Foreigner at their best. Just like the record, Wilma.
Yep.
That people have forgotten the excitement of watching Jimmy Page on an off night try to paint himself out of another freaking corner he just painted himself in because maybe he had taken a little bit too much pre-show. Or the occasional mistake in watching one of your heroes save the freaking day by doing something even more brilliant that made the mistake worth being there for. And when they just plain fucked up, you felt like, man, I can't believe they fucked up, man. That was, man, that blew my mind. But you knew whatever you heard was real. So the corporate strategy is after this, and guess who's in the middle of that? iHeartRadio. Who are they connected to? How many? I hope I didn't bump my mic. Who is iHeartRadio connected to? Remember my old stories about Ticketmaster, who's owned by Live Nation, and now iHeartRadio got into that. And then they're saying that cultural evolution, it's just like the big band era or the jazz era. Everybody has its shelf life, which I thoroughly agree with. And like I said at the beginning of this stream, if indeed that's where we're going, it's time to procure it and to treat it like a freaking painting hanging on the walls of the mother freaking Louvre. If that's where we're going. And then as the survivalists get going, there will be new music. It just won't be at the fever pitch that it once was. But how have they made sure that they can't get this comeback? Despite the fact that rock and roll is the fastest growing subgenre of music out of the most popular subgenres that include pop, include hip hop, and include rap, even though it's not ranked as high as those these days, it has a faster growing audience. What does that tell you? Well, I don't see any current bands that have a conquest. There's some big ones. I mean, even bands like the Foo Fighters are getting long in the tooth. But I'm talking real young, hey, fresh off the presses bands that's doing anything 1/4 of what the Beatles did or 1/5 of what Led Zeppelin did or Pink Floyd. And part of it is being pigeonholed by an expectation that occurs when you inerrantly replicate what's on the radio or in many cases albums. No more surprises. You see, the surprises are the butterflies that are flying, and the swallows and Bambi that you see nuzzling on your lap when you go to these shows. That's not a concert. And I don't care if they're playing Hell's Bells. That ain't rock and roll. Not to me. But I know a lot of you don't agree with me. I know a lot of you don't agree with me. But either way, I think most of us would agree that whatever it is that we perceive as rock and roll, let's keep it that wide. I like to think, to me, classic rock was that just magical period that freaking nothing could go wrong. I mean, other than the occasional 27-year-old rocker dying because of the lifestyle, it did not, it wasn't all fun and glory. But the output, the art, and the pop art of seeing those people in their prime was wonderful. But
Michael
shouldn't it belong to
Boswell has
history?
something to say again, hon.
I had to get that shouldn't it belong to history because I knew this had to be Michael Boswell.
Yep, Michael Boswell.
What?
He came in with a $10 super thanks.
Oh, wow. Thank you,
Thank
Michael.
you, Michael.
Wonderful.
He says the music that is already out will still live in the perfect recording and will entertain till man ends. Sorry, I don't like hearing over medicated musicians. Nothing to apologize there, Michael. Nope.
Well, you know what, Michael? And again, I'm glad. I'm going to let you have your final say on that because I did that. And I always want everybody to know when you watch me up here, this is just a guy with an opinion. Okay? Now, I'm a lifelong rock and roll fan, you know, since I was, I'm a lifelong music fan. My earliest heroes were the Everly Brothers and Johnny Cash. Beatles came along, ooh, I liked that, and liked a lot more bands, even more at first of the Beatles, until I got into my early teens and I started, oh, wait a minute, you know. But I was a casual music fan, and the only reason I ever became a musician was because the Beatles were musicians. I had to get a guitar, I had to learn it. And then when I heard, I never thought of myself as like writing a song like Lennon and McCartney until I heard the McCartney album. And I had enough chord knowledge by that time. I started becoming a songwriter. Okay, so music has changed my life. And I come from the sense that I know what it's like to write a song. I know what it's like to play guitar, bass guitar. I have a limited knowledge of keyboards and learned my limited knowledge of music theory on keyboards from a teacher who took the time to teach me music theory instead of berating me for the length of my hair. I loved that. He saw potential in me when a lot of teachers just thought, the hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoozer back in the day. So I'm more bound to want real because it was so real in our day. Even the horrible things. And Michael, just a note, you know I'm a recovering alcoholic, right? And yeah, but there is a time period, I can tell you, when alcohol actually enhanced my performance. Now, that was true. You begin these drugs and it opens new doors for you. I think the Beatles is an excellent example of that. But there's a heavy price to pay. It's a road you do not want to go down on because I didn't know how to quit. And then it became an albatross around my neck as far as a musician, a songwriter, a singer, and a husband, and a father, and an employee, and as a human being. Those are the pitfalls. But that's also part of the story because we are weakened flesh as humans. And yet somehow, and this is the perfect way for me to end my stream, folks, And yet somehow, every once in a while, something happens with us, either through industry, inspiration of philosophy, or art. We have a golden era where some of the best of whatever you think is mankind's greatest achievements in those areas. And I got to live through that. Whoa. And I know many of you got to as well. That's why when Royce and I talk about it, we sometimes on his channel we'll bring it up, is people just don't get it, man. You know, people who are now 48, they just don't get it. You know, people who are in their mid-50s don't quite get it, because I and Royce were of the younger group of those original rock fans from Beatle 1. Okay?
Yep.
We were the younger of those groups. And now we're some of the last remaining seniors. Folks, I had a great time tonight. I really did. I was worried about getting up. I'm sorry I was up late. But I just enjoy talking with you guys so much. And that's a time just before I go up where I can actually respond in person on time. And I always appreciate you early birds, you know that. If you are watching this the second, time, or, through replay, I would encourage you. We got 64 thumbs up tonight. Thank you. That meant we got a larger audience while it's going. We've got
Joseph
63 here as I'm shutting down.
Oh, Joseph.
Oh,
Blue,
Joseph. Oh, you see, this man's a
$5.
man of tradition, baby.
Yes, he is. Joseph.
A
Blue.
$5 super thanks. Thank you, Joseph. Would you read his?
I sure will. Joseph says, I had a live experience this week by finally getting Wings Over America on high quality Japanese SHM CD. Ooh, awesome, Joseph.
Yeah, I think he may have told me that. That sounds familiar. I'm trying to remember if he had mentioned that in a previous conversation on one of my videos or something. Somebody got something new that was close to that. I want to get, I don't even know if it's available, but I'd love to get Wings Over America on vinyl. I'd like to get, just a brand new version of it. But I don't know when the last time that was released on vinyl or not. But I'm on the lookout for that, Joseph. I've gotten a lot, as a lot of you people who have watched my latest members only videos, I've gotten a lot of Paul McCartney out of the four Beatles, post Beatles. More McCartney and then more Harrison. And then comes Lennon and Ringo tied at one apiece. I'm really behind on getting with Lennon. But I ran into some of these acquisitions in a timely sort of way, right when Lennon was asking for the moon for silly reboxings of some of his stuff. So I got some stuff from Paul instead of Lennon. I still want those albums by Lennon. It's just I didn't like the way they were released. All right? Thank you, Joseph, as always. Thanks to each and every one of you who have financially supported the channel, but more than that, and all these folks that I just mentioned know this. It's you, the viewer. And if you're new to the channel, you got a chance to know my personality here a little bit. Now you kind of, when you're here on the stream, you get the man behind that camera that for years just did nothing but pre-recorded videos, right? And I like that real flavor. That's why I go the extra distance to do this, okay? And, but I'm also quite proud of the fact that I think I've pretty much caught up on getting all ends. My next scheduled video, unless a news item comes out, will be a brand new one for you new members, okay? And I just put out a real quick members only video explaining why some problems happened. And if we have more time on Wednesday, I'll explain that more. All right, so after this show, it's 6:15 now. In 15 minutes, the Four Horsemen will be streaming, and we're going to be talking about Sharon Osbourne, widow to Black Sabbath, former Black Sabbath lead vocalist and solo artist extraordinaire Ozzy Osbourne will carry on Ozfest. All right? And that's what the discussion's going to be over there in about 15 minutes, folks. I appreciate each and every one of you. You know that. You want to get to know me a little bit more, go back and watch some of my past streams. What you get here is in the now. I try to come up prepared, but if I get a lot of feedback from you guys, the complexion of the stream may change, but I'm fully prepared to come up here and talk on Sundays, a solid hour at least, and prepared to talk on more than even one subject on Wednesdays. All right, folks, I got to get going. I got to switch equipment because I stream on a different device over at Royce's wonderful channel, and I hope to see as many of you that are watching right now as possible in 15 minutes. The Four Horsemen, if you don't know who that is, where it is and everything, just go down to my channel page, hit the Four Horsemen link there, and then click tonight's stream. And hope to see you there. All right, folks, anything else you want to say, baby?
I just want to say blessings to everybody, and the tribe
Yes.
rocks.
I agree. I agree. She loves you guys.
Yes,
I know that.
we love the tribe.
And it's always smart to let, the wife have the final say. That's
Yeah.
what I've learned anyway. All right, folks, see you in a few minutes.
Good night.